We really need to start this.
Hey, let's talk.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I can't even start. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to Collective Sound. And I have maybe my favorite guest so far with me today.
Did you hear that? Previous guest.
I haven't even introduced you yet.
Oh, sorry.
Nicole Rhodes.
What's up?
Woo!
Fans.
They're screaming.
Oh my gosh, she's my favorite. No, I'm just, yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, just
Yep.
dripped on my phone.
What's up?
I want everyone to know with that Nicole and I Nicole is one of my best friends.
Right back at you, sister.
And
Also known as my wife.
yes, we're also married.
Yep.
And we have been trying to record this episode for about an hour at this point. Oh no, only 30 minutes. It feels so long.
It feels like it's only been 3 minutes because we just have that much fun together.
Yeah.
Is this too close?
Yeah, a little bit.
Sorry.
Like right on the knee. Yeah. Yeah, so Nicole came over.
Sorry.
Yeah, Nicole came over like 30 minutes ago, and I don't know what was going on, but we both were like tweaking,
Yeah.
in a really strange, weird vibes.
I don't think we were in the same like energy wavelength,
No.
which that's odd for us.
Odd for us. Yeah, Nicole was feeling strange. I was feeling like she hated me.
I hate this situation because
Nicole doesn't want to be on the podcast.
no, that's not the thing. Okay, first of all, I'm the biggest Collective Sound stan. Love it. Huge
Okay, bold
supporter.
statement.
Right here, right now. But I hate my voice on a recording.
I think you have a great voice.
And I also think I'm an extremely uninteresting person.
That is also not true.
So welcome to the most entertaining guest you'll ever have.
Yeah, so we did have to take a shot before we started this
Tequila confidence.
because we don't know how to speak to each other. And we've been best friends for like 4 years,
Yep.
which we'll get into. Anyway, Nicole, welcome.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
Are you happy to be here?
No, I am.
Are you sure?
It was an honor when you asked me.
Oh, my queen.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start this episode how I start every episode.
Please.
Can you please introduce yourself like you're a freshman in college? So think of your like day one Belmont days. So name, hometown,
Nicole.
major, and fun fact.
Friends call me Nick Vic.
Mm-hmm.
I am from Illinois, about an hour outside of Chicago. Midwest gal for life.
Heck yeah.
Came to Belmont freshman year, so that was 2016. So now, and then I just fell in love with Nashville, stayed, work here now, so I'm going on 5 years.
Scary.
Just terrifying. The amount of
Scary.
change that's happened in the last 5 years.
Scary.
Insane.
And a fun fact.
Oh, fun fact, fuck. Am I allowed to swear?
You can. My nieces and nephews do listen
Ooh,
to this,
So sorry.
but I let guests swear. They need to learn, right, Joseph? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Fun fact. That's rude. I don't know. You know a lot about me.
I do.
It's a fun fact.
Ooh.
I once hung out with Haim,
Oh.
and that was the highlight of my life because they're one of my favorite bands
I
ever.
forgot about that story and save it for later.
Okay.
We'll get there.
That was best day of my life.
Wow, that is such a good story. I can't, the audacity of me to forget that.
Wow.
Anyway.
True friend, question mark?
Whoa. Are you about to challenge me on my own podcast?
Yes.
That you are also a part of?
Another fun fact that I'm actually embarrassed about, being a huge music fan. My first concert ever was High School Musical Live.
Nicole, so was mine.
We've had this conversation,
we have.
and it like blew my mind when you said that.
You saw them in Chicago?
It made me feel less alone. Yeah, Allstate Arena.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not ashamed of it.
Okay.
I think it was culturally important at the time.
You're correct, except for the fact that Zac Efron wasn't there and he was played by Drew.
Okay, Drew Seeley. Who, like, I mean, was the voice, but I wanted to look at Zac Efron.
Yeah, me too.
I was
No
like,
offense to you, Drew, if you're listening.
yeah, gosh, Drew, if you're a fan, please come on the podcast.
Reach out.
I'd love to hear about, like, the dynamic of being the voice of Troy Bolton, but not being Troy Bolton.
Were you offended?
Yeah, were you offended? And how was acting with Selena Gomez?
I'd like to
In
know.
Another Cinderella Story, that's what it's called, right? It's one where they dance.
Yeah.
You've never seen it?
No, oh
Oh,
my gosh.
okay.
The
Oh.
mirror scene?
Yeah.
Where
Just gonna say that.
literally the scene that pops in my head. I
Yeah.
used to do that dance in my bedroom.
Should we do it now?
Yes.
Okay, wait, please hold.
We'll be right back.
We did have a dance party before
And
we did
enjoy
this.
this commercial break.
Yeah, and I'll be putting the video on the podcast Instagram.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Cannot wait. Anyways.
So, your first concert was High School Musical, so was mine. That's crazy. Were you close? I was literally the last row in the arena.
Literally, I could probably have touched
Oh, I
the
could.
top.
Wow.
I went to Olive Garden beforehand.
What were you wearing? I need to talk about my outfit at...
Honestly, I don't want to know.
Okay, my mother, who also is a avid listener of this podcast, hey mom, she
Hello,
is...
Mrs. Pacey. I love you.
Yeah, she's a style queen.
She
Anyone
really
who
is.
knows her. She's a fashion queen. And always dressed me very interestingly growing up, which now I look back at it and I'm like, wow, you were hip. But at the time I was like, Mom, why are you putting me in this? Like, I
Yeah.
couldn't shop at Limited Too.
I
And
loved Limited too.
I know, it's all I wanted.
The
So my
glitter.
mother dressed me in a pantsuit, which was, yeah, think of, how old were we when that came out? Probably like six or seven.
Sixth grade.
No, it wasn't.
No,
Was it?
not at all.
No,
I
we
was young.
Yeah, but we were probably close to 10, not
Yeah,
close
like
to
something
6.
like 10.
Okay. I'm in a velvet black pantsuit with a pink turtleneck underneath. Go
Did you
to
have your glasses on?
Of course.
Was your hair pulled back in a ponytail?
Of course it was.
Every time you talk about your young self, I see a specific picture of you
Uh-huh.
with your glasses on
Yeah.
and your hair pulled back.
Yeah. I should, if I can find a picture of me at the High School Musical concert. And I had a disposable camera and I took pictures of the stage. I'm not even kidding. It's not even an inch big on a picture. Like,
Right.
it was this big.
Oh, I brought my Canon.
Like a little like point and shoot.
Yeah.
So cute.
So good.
Wow, we'll try to dig stuff up from that. Anyway, so Nicole and I'd love to just talk about how we met. I feel like that's important. So Nicole and I both went to Belmont. So freshman year, doing our things.
Yep.
We actually hung out on the first day of school.
I later cried that night because I was already homesick.
I think I did too. So we had my roommate, Molly, shout out to Molly, she's also
Shout
an
out,
avid
Molly.
lister to this podcast, met you. How did you guys...
She was in my first year seminar.
Okay.
Which is like a class that every freshman needs to take. And it was I didn't get to really choose what I wanted because
No.
classes go like snap of a finger.
Yeah.
So I ended up in some random humanities class, but I don't even
Yeah.
remember the subject. And met Molly, and she was like the first person that was like nice to me.
Oh,
And then
Molly, she's
and
so
then she's
kind.
like, "Do you want to hang out with my roommate and
Yeah.
have friends later?" And I was like, "Yes, I have
Heck
no
yeah.
friends."
Yeah, so
please."
we went to Chick-fil-A on campus
Shout out.
and got fries and milkshakes.
Yep.
And Molly made a video of it, which is very cute. And it's really sweet to look back on because I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that was... But we'd like to mention that after that, didn't hang out.
Did not see each other again.
For probably like almost... I mean, not a year. Probably like 6 to 8 months. Because that was in August and we didn't really hang out till like April.
Yeah. Anybody that knows Belmont, went to Belmont, whatever. When we went there in 2016, it was still small enough where if you're walking around campus, you're
Yeah.
bound to run into somebody
Yeah.
that you hung out with once. So we ran into each other on campus
Yeah.
every other day for a year.
Yeah, I remember running. I don't know why this is the like vivid memory in my head, but
Is
in
it the cafeteria?
yes, in the line for wraps.
Yes.
And Nicole and I were those annoying people where every time we saw each other, we were like, we need to hang out.
Oh my
We need to hang
gosh.
out. Oh, it's
You're
good
so
to see
cool.
you.
Like, it's so good to see you. Like, why haven't we hung out yet?
Yeah, and we did that more times than I could count.
Yeah.
Like, embarrassing. So that happened, and then by April,
Yeah. We had all exchanged numbers. We
Yes.
all, meaning Isabel and Lily.
yes, and we all loved Paramore, so we'd like talk and text about Paramore, I feel
Yeah.
like. And then Nicole was present at the infamous night at Lucky Bamboo.
Lucky Bamboo, China Bistro.
Yes.
Please sponsor us.
We went, what, was that last weekend?
Last weekend.
We went last weekend. They just treat us like queens. And I know they probably treat every customer like that, but there's something about when we walk in that feels like main character energy.
It feels like home.
Yeah, it feels like we're the only people that matter.
And being like a year without going and actually
I know.
getting food there
And
other
like
than
sitting.
takeout.
Yeah.
It was really nice to be back.
It was an experience. So if you live in Nashville, just go to Lucky Bamboo. Just go there. So Nicole was at that infamous night that if you listen to the episode with Carly, we talked about, and I think I've talked about it in another episode too, but we saw Half Noise. It was insane, whatever.
Half Noise, iconic.
Yeah.
So good.
So then after that night, then we really were like, we've been pretty much attached at the hip since.
Literally, I don't think we've gone, I don't know.
Yeah, we're kind of obsessed with each other.
We're pretty obsessed.
Yeah. Yeah, really actually scary now that I think about it.
Yeah.
But we've done a lot together since.
Yeah.
What would you say some of our most iconic moments are? We've been to a lot of shows together.
We've been to so many shows together.
But why are they all escaping my brain?
I mean, we've seen Paris a few times together.
My vivid memory, which I will put this video on the podcast Instagram, but my vivid memory is those videos of us at Paris, like, headbanging.
Singing My House.
Yes.
Just, like, aggressively.
Yeah.
We like to amp each other up, but we also love to get each other's aggression out through headbanging.
Yes, which we started to do that when you came over today.
Yeah.
We just kind of poke each other.
We said,
Scary.
hey, we're at a weird energy spot right now. Let's dance it out.
Let's dance it out, headbanging included.
We also just do a lot of drives together of...
A lot of drives.
Both of our love languages are showing each other music.
True.
And we do that pretty nonstop.
Most of the music, honestly, new music I listen to is because Nicole sent it to me.
Stop.
I know.
Did I mention I'm in love with Isabel Pacey?
I'm in love with Nicole Rhodes. So yeah, we've been like BFF since, which is kind of sweet. Thanks, Half Noise.
I know, right?
Half Noise.
Shout out to Half Noise and Paramore for just bringing people together. Half Noise and Paramore specifically, it's almost like if you're in that fandom, you understand each other's like emotional state.
Oh gosh.
Is it unstable? Is that what I'd like to say?
Yeah. Like, no, 100%. And I feel like After Laughter especially did that for fans of that band.
And that's kind of what I like think about with our friendship in college specifically. Is that album period.
Yeah, because After Laughter came out end of our freshman year.
Yeah.
Remember when I slept through it? We were supposed to, and you thought I was dead.
Forgot about that. Lily and I literally thought you were dead.
Yeah, so the first single off of After Laughter came out on, like, I don't know, like a Friday or something.
It was Hard Times.
Yeah, Hard Times, which
they'd been teasing it like crazy.
So there was like a certain time, I don't know if it premiered on a radio or something. I just remember there being a time that we were going to listen to it, and it was in the morning.
It was the YouTube premiere, because they were premiering it with their music video.
Right.
But it was like 6 or 7 a.m.
I don't know. It was probably 7. You're right.
Probably
yeah.
7.
It was early, and if you know me, freshman year, I would stay up to like 5 a.m. like every night because I was crazy. So I had stayed up really late the night before and slept through my alarm.
Yeah.
And so we were all meeting up to like watch this music video together, which is like so sweet to think about. And I missed it. And I just remember waking up to like so many text messages of like, Isabel, like, are you like alive?
I walked from my dorm in the morning with my laptop to your dorm, even though you didn't show up.
I'm sorry.
And Lily and I sat in some sketch,
the little study room
that had like a whiteboard and like 3 chairs in it. And
it was like kind of really
we were in our
dark.
pajamas. We looked awful, and we just watched the music video like 5 times together.
Yeah, and I missed out. I'm sorry.
And you missed out, but
sorry.
it's fine.
I woke up like, I think I slept through my first class too. It was like one of those mornings that I've never really done that before, but yeah.
But then, that's like what I think about when I look back at the start of our friendship. It was very much centered around After Laughter, which probably is one of the reasons why it's my favorite album. Not my favorite album, sorry.
It's one of my favorites
one of
too.
my probably top 5.
Yeah.
Just because of the memories involved.
I would agree. Yeah,
and it fucking is incredible.
And it's so good.
Once again, sorry, kids. Close your ears.
Like, not to say, but like, what are they gonna do next? Like, how do you follow that album?
That's why they've waited so long.
Yeah, you're right. But they're working on another one, so it's good. We haven't even talked about that in person or text. We haven't even addressed that.
Let's not.
I don't think I can. So we love Paramore. We love a lot of the same bands. I feel like freshman year we went to a lot of like emo shows.
Yeah.
Paris. Were you at All Time Low? Did you go to All Time Low?
I did not.
Oh, okay. Well, we went to a lot of those.
But I think, I really will say it, I think All Time Low was my gateway drug into music?
Gosh, Nicole, it's like you knew what question I was gonna ask you. It's like you made me read all the questions to you before we recorded this.
It's like my anxiety, so I need to know what you're gonna ask me about.
No, but that is my next question. I wanted, because I think one of the reasons we get along so well is because we are, like, very similarly, like, such deep fans of music.
Yes.
So I'd love to hear, like, what turned you from just a fan into, like, a real fan, which I always call it, what was your like, gateway drug?
Yeah. Well, I had this thought the other day of just, one of my random thoughts that come into my head on my daily walks was just, first of all, how boring would life be without music? It's everywhere.
We wouldn't be friends.
Yeah, right? I don't know what I would be doing with my life.
Maybe. I wouldn't have gone to Belmont.
I wouldn't have either.
Yeah, how boring.
How boring.
I think of this sometimes. Like, what do people who, like, just passively listen to music, like, people who only just, like, maybe listen to it on the radio in the car, like, how boring. What do you do with your life?
I really would like to know what I'd fill my time with if it wasn't filled with music.
Yeah, probably, like, well, you would probably do movies.
Probably.
Yeah, but anyway.
Still. So I had that thought. Doesn't really have to do with your question. But
Okay,
I just had to get that out.
Great.
So growing up, my family was constantly playing music. My parents are both huge music lovers.
Shout out to your parents.
Shout out to Julie and Jeff.
Love them so much.
So my childhood, when I look back on music, it was all 70s and 80s.
Mm-hmm.
It was Queen, it was Duran Duran, B-52s,
Wow.
Madonna.
What taste?
Aerosmith, Def Leppard. Like, seriously, such a good era of music that my parents introduced me at a young age. So I fell in love with music that way. And then I would say the first time that I found a love for music on my own terms was All Time Low. And
yeah.
I just remember sitting in my computer room, to anybody who used to have a computer room in their
I
house.
also had a computer room.
And I was on YouTube, and Dear Maria Count Me In music video
You said,
came on.
I do have your picture.
Yeah. Count me in. And so I started listening to All Time Low, which then brought me into the whole pop punk scene.
Yeah.
So then I was listening to Mayday Parade, The Somerset, Paramore.
Bring back the Somerset.
Right? Like,
I think they might. No, I wouldn't say they were my gateway to emo music, but they were one of the ones that, like, got me into that. I wouldn't really. I mean, they like toe the line, but they were one of the bands that, like, kind of got me over to that.
Totally.
Wow.
And so I started just falling in love with pop punk, and my brother, who's 2 years older than me, he was also a huge music fan, and so he introduced me to, like, Green Day, and then all of a sudden he got into more rap music, and he introduced me to, like, Kanye and, like, all that.
Wow.
But first music that I really loved for myself was pop punk. Not the aggressive punk of, like, Pierce the Veil,
No.
Black Veil Brides. Like, that wasn't my thing.
I couldn't handle that.
I
You
was
know
more
who
on the
can
poppy
handle
side.
that?
Lily.
Lily. Which
Which is amazing.
if you guys didn't know that, if
Our
you're listening
sweet
to
little
this
Lily.
and you know my sweet Lily, which if you don't know her, she's my best friend and roommate, and she's an 8th grade English teacher, and she
Shout
like
out to Lily Minogue.
yeah, shout out to Lil Minogue. We love her so much. And if you meet her, she's so sweet. She wears all yellow. She's just very kind and you just want to hug her. But she is like one of the biggest fans of like Pierce the Veil, which is so funny to think about.
It's just incredible.
Anyway, tangent, but back to your emo awakening.
Yeah, so that was kind of my awakening, and that was then my awakening of my love for concerts and live music.
Oh, cool.
Because the first concert I got to choose for myself was All Time Low at the Congress Theater in Chicago on the Dirty Work tour.
Wow.
In April of, I think, 2011.
Wow.
And after that, it was my first general admission concert. I went with my best friend at the time, and our dads took us.
I was gonna say, that is so cute.
And I remember that feeling of the first time walking into a venue and being like system overload of the amount of people, and then realizing we were all there for the same reason.
Oh, I just got the chills. That's
Like,
really cute.
Don't you remember that, like,
Yeah.
first show you
Oh,
chose
yeah.
for yourself, where it's a band that you've been listening to nonstop, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
you got to be in that moment?
100%. You know who mine probably was?
Ed Sheeran.
No, I mean maybe, but no.
Who?
Big Time Rush.
Shout out to Big Time Rush.
Shout out to Big Time Rush. I give myself
Emblem 3.
No, I hadn't quite. I think Big Time Rush was my gateway to Emblem 3.
I agree.
Anyway, yeah, I think that was one of my first concerts where I was like, wow, we all love Big Time Rush.
It's true, and I know we've talked about this, the power of young girls in fandoms.
Yeah. So good.
You're welcome, music industry.
Okay, yeah. I have nothing else to say.
And mic drop.
Drop. Have you seen All Time Low in the last couple of years?
No.
Okay.
I had seen them a few more times following that.
Cool.
I hadn't seen them, in basically forever, it feels like.
Cool. Because I've seen them, I think, twice in the last, 3 years. Maybe
I would
4 years.
love to have seen them
Yes,
again.
and I was curious.
They put on a fantastic show.
Yes, and I feel like they're one of the bands that hasn't aged. I feel
totally.
like the show you saw when you were a kid is probably the same show, and in a good way, not in a bad way. But they're so good.
They're so good. And I, anybody that has been a fan of them in the past, they have, straight to DVD, which is their, concert footage and kind of like a documentary sort of thing.
I did not know that existed.
I used to invite my friends over to watch it. Same thing as how I had my friends over to watch Riot.
Can we do
which,
that?
Which, by the way,
too?
I think is from the Congress Theater in Chicago.
What? Oh, I think you're right.
In pain that I was not there.
Oh, that's scary. I'm sorry.
To be fair, I was not a fan of Paramore at that moment.
Yeah, when did you start listening to Paramore?
I'd say in Brand New Eyes era is when I was introduced.
Cool. And how did you find them? Just through other music?
I actually have a vivid memory of, I knew who they were and what the band was, but I remember the second I became an actual fan where I went down a rabbit hole of their previous music was when I saw that they were on the lineup for 3 shows on Warped Tour in 2011 or 2012. So it was right when I was introduced to pop punk music.
Cool.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this band is so cool. Lead singer is a girl. The only other time I had seen that is No Doubt, Gwen Stefani.
Yeah. Wow, you're right.
So that was...
Gosh, Hayley Williams just did it all for us.
Yeah.
Also Gwen Stefani, thanks, sister.
Yeah, right? And so then, Warped Tour, it just is another experience of growing up that I just...
Yeah, I never got to do Warped.
That
I still haven't done it.
For you. Well, because you have no time to do it because it's over.
Because I didn't get into pop punk. I passively listened to it and liked it. I think I was a closeted pop punk fan in middle school and high school. But you guys are the ones who really got me into it. So then when Warped came here our sophomore year of college, I was working full time and I couldn't get off, so I couldn't go. But I did make Lily buy me a State Champ shirt from it. I love State Champs.
Well, to be fair, it was not a cool thing to like pop punk.
No.
I mean, we both grew up in Catholic school, so I was the odd one out. I was not listening to, I mean, of course I still was listening to, Maroon 5, Kelly Clarkson.
Oh, yeah.
All that stuff.
Kelly Clarkson.
But for the most part, I loved these indie bands that, I guess, not really indie, but these pop punk bands that nobody else was listening to, and I, like...
Oh, 100%. And my, sweet mother, I don't think could handle that. Most of my music, I, also... Because my mom and I are so close, and also she would just drive me everywhere, that she was, very into that. My mom loves One Direction so much. And so we would, do a lot of that, where I feel like your mother and, parents were more into that, rock. I mean, my dad likes classic rock and roll, but doesn't branch out from there.
Honestly, I'd like to take this time to shout out my mother and my aunt. Yeah. So my mother and my auntie Laura literally took me to everything. Took me to Warped Tour, which to anybody that knows, it starts at 11 and basically goes to 9 p.m. of just...
Which is insane.
All day in the heat, multiple stages, running around. So my mom and aunt would go together, be my parent for the day with me and a lucky friend. And they would sit in the shade and it just amazing. But they took me to so many shows.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah. Wow, shout out to your mom. Yeah. I miss your mom.
Yeah. So
come back to Nashville, please.
Please.
If you're listening to this. What would you say, what fan stereotype would you put yourself into?
What age group?
Oh my gosh, whoa.
I definitely
let's go
phases.
Yes, let's go beginning of fan experience, because I also like know you well enough to know you've like evolved.
Yeah.
But when you first came into like being a fan, like what? Like I was such an internet fan, but I don't
Okay.
know if you quite were
I
that.
never went on like the internet Tumblr fan.
Yeah.
Because I know that's where you are with
Yes.
with One Direction and such. I was more of a going to shows
Yeah.
and seeing that was like my goal, is when I found a new band that I loved, I had to see them live.
Yeah. Which, being in Chicago, like, you really won in life with that one.
Seriously.
Because who doesn't go to Chicago?
I know. So that was pretty incredible. And once again, like, my parents were so supportive of my love for these shows. And I think they both had such a love for music growing up that they were just supportive of, okay, so you want to go do this? Let's do it.
Yeah.
There's only a few times where I got told no.
When? I know one of them.
One of them was when the Cab and the Somerset were doing a show at the Rave.
The Cab. I've been actually listening to The Cab a lot this week.
Honestly, I've noticed on your Spotify. Angel with a Shotgun has been on repeat for
So
Isabel
good.
Pacey.
And I would say The Cab and the Somerset, I mean, they were like, because they towed that line of like kind of more poppy.
Yep,
And so
definitely
I
more
listened to them a
poppy.
lot. The Cab, not a lot of people. Is that the name of the album? Angel with a Shotgun? The one with the violin or the bass on it?
Yes,
That's
it's
literally
not
a
the title.
gun?
It's like
What is it? That album is
starts with an S, I think.
so good.
I don't know. Such a good album.
Yeah.
It's gray. It's got like a.
It has a violin or a bass
I
that
think
is
it's
also
cello.
a gun, cello, some
I don't
instrument.
know, something.
Gosh, The Cab. Anyway, okay, keep going. I just love The Cab.
So anybody that's ever been to the Rave in Milwaukee, it's
Yes.
kind of in a sketchy area.
Oh yeah.
So I'd already had these tickets to go with one of my friends. Shout out Marissa. She was always seeing pop punk shows with me. And my mom picked me up from school or something and was like, I was so excited. I thought about it all day.
Uh-huh.
And then my mom picked me up. I was like, we're not going. And I said,
Did you cry?
oh, yes. I cried heavy tears.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And she was like, you know, it's an unsafe neighborhood. I don't
Yeah.
think we should go. I was so upset. So that was one. And then another time where she said no was the one heavier band that I ever got into was the band 3 Days Grace.
Oh yeah.
And it was specifically because of the movie Raise Your Voice with Hilary Duff. They go to
Okay,
see that show.
Nicole, can we watch? None of my friends know what movie that is, and that was like my favorite movie growing up.
Okay, me too, but it made me sob
Well,
when
yeah.
her brother dies.
Can we watch it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
Okay, so, no, but they do. That's how I
Yeah.
found them too. Anyway, keep going.
So after that movie, once again, I think it was the concert experience that they had there where I was like, I love being in a big crowd of people and all being there for the same reason. And I loved this band, but anybody who knows the band 3 Days Grace, that fandom is like 40-year-old
Yeah.
angry white men. And so my mom sees, and the one song that was like my favorite of theirs is I Hate Everything About You.
Your poor mother. Your
poor
poor
mom is
Catholic
like-
mother.
My mom is like, oh my gosh, we need to get you to church. And so that's what she was like, there is no way in hell that I am letting you go to some concert with all of these men.
That's
And
funny.
so that was
I
the other
mean,
time she
probably a
said no.
good parenting move
Oh,
on her
if I
end.
was a parent, I would have also said,
Yeah.
hell no.
And like the rave, I understand as well. My mother probably let me go to the rave when I was too young. I would like wait. That's what I can't believe she let me do. Which, did she know? Well, yes, for Ed Sheeran when I met him as a ketchup bottle.
If you have not listened to that episode, please go back to the beginning of Collective Sound
Oh
and
my
listen
god,
to it.
it's so something. That's like my most iconic fangirl story. Anyway,
Yes.
but like we were like waited for so long, and I've been on the streets of the rave for like 24 hours. Like that, yeah.
Wow.
You should not be doing that as like a teenage girl.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And that's, I guess, another part of you asking, going back to the beginning of the question, what kind of a fan were you?
Uh-huh.
You were the type of fan who waited in line
Yeah.
for hours upon end.
Like days.
Days.
Scary.
I never waited more than maybe, I'd say I did maybe 6 hours or so.
Okay,
But
yeah.
I never did a full day.
Who's the longest you've waited for?
Oh, crap. I know I've waited outside for All Time Low for a bit.
Okay.
I think for Paramore too.
Ugh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Did you wait at the end?
Yes, but I had also gotten out of work
Right.
like an hour early or
Right.
something. We both showed up kind of late, but there was
Right.
nobody there when we were. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I mean, we can get into that now. I mean, if you listen to the episode with Carly, we talked about the Paramore show at the end, which Nicole was also at. Any Paramore show that, like, Carly and I talked
We're
about,
all at.
that we were together, Nicole was also there. We, like, have a little group of friends that we, like, were inseparable. Yeah, the end. Should we talk about Ms. Biz?
No.
if you guys
I'm
could see
sweating
Nicole's face right now.
now thinking about it.
Yeah, so, again, if you listen to Carly's episode, you know, but during Misery Business of Paramore, they usually pull a fan on stage to sing it. And when we were at the end, the venue was, I don't know what their cap is, 100 maybe.
Maybe.
If even, I would go closer to 70.
And anybody that doesn't know the previous story is this was a secret show
Yes.
in 2018 following like After Laughter, and they were about to start doing a tour, but before that they did like this radio promotion thing.
Yeah. It was right before Bonnaroo.
Yeah.
And they played like 6 songs.
They played 6 songs, and to this day, it's my favorite concert of all time.
Oh, I agree.
6 songs.
I agree.
I was so present at that show.
Mhm.
I didn't have my phone out once.
No, I didn't either.
We danced harder than I think we've ever danced.
Yeah, I've never sweat that much at
I
a show.
looked like I had just run 15 miles.
I think I probably looked like I just jumped in a pool.
And then they had the audacity to say,
Oh.
okay, so now that you guys are drenched in sweat and look
We have to talk about
awful,
that story.
everybody here is going to meet Paramore.
Yes. So, okay, so we do the show. They do Ms. Biz, and Haley, like, came down in the crowd and, like, kind of did a lap around the crowd and, like, sang with everyone, which was really fun. And it felt like the appropriate thing to do there because it would be weird to pull one person of, like, 70 there.
Yeah.
And at the end, she, like, did a loop around the whole floor, and she came back over to the front row at the end, and, like, the last line that she did, she pointed the mic at Nicole, and Nicole, like...
For a straight visual, she's all the way in the back. Our friend group is the first
Whole
line,
front row, yeah.
whole front row of people at the stage, and I'm turned around dancing my little booty off with Isabel and Lily, and we're singing and dancing like crazy. And I had no idea that Haley was coming back up through the middle, and I just happened to spin around. And as I spun around, Haley Williams is right in front of me, and she just puts the microphone in my face, and I like scream the lyrics. I was out of my body.
It was crazy. And then Haley went back on stage, and Nicole literally fell to the floor.
I fell to the floor.
I'm not even kidding, to the floor.
I think you and Lily picked me up.
Yeah.
Where I
Yeah,
was
Lily
just-
grabbed you. Wow.
I basically had a fangirl moment.
Yeah. Which
Very unexpected.
was so great. So then after, they like make us all leave the venue, but then we wait. They have us like all wait in this little like patio section they have.
Yep.
And then they like usher us in like 2 by 2 to meet them. So please tell the audience what you did when you met Haley.
Oh my gosh. I was shaking. Like, I was so nervous, and our mutual friend Caitlin, you went in pairs, and so Caitlin and I went together, and we're meeting, you know, Zach and Haley and Taylor, and I'm so nervous that I'm wearing a Blondie t-shirt, and, you know, Paramore is a big fan of Blondie. They cover Heart of Glass on their tours, and Haley says, "Hey, I like your shirt." I get so nervous. I literally go, haha, thanks, I got it in like 6th grade. Like, I'm sorry. That is so uncool of me to be like, do you want to know I got it at the Target section in 6th grade?
In 6th grade, and now I'm 20 something and still wearing it.
Right?
That is so funny.
I was just so nervous. I barely talked. I think I said something about my mother. Hi, I love you. And just how big of a fan I was. And I blacked out.
Yeah. As you should.
I
think we all did. I don't remember.
You and Lily had a very cute...
Oh, we did.
Where you talked about your friendship.
Yeah, Lily and I talked about... Oh, that was really sweet. Lily and I went up to them and talked to them. And it was cool because you were the only ones in the building with them, really. Like, they didn't let people inside until you did. So it was cool. Like, didn't feel like anyone was really watching you. And Lily and I told them about how we're, like... like kind of like best friends because of them, and how
Yeah.
Lily got me so into them, and we like admired their friendship and like all this stuff, and it was really sweet, and
Really tender.
they were really kind to us, and like we're very touched by saying that. And we have this really cute picture of us with our arms around each other, like taken from the back, and it's just the back of me and Lily with our arms around each other, and then you can just like see pair. Oh, it's so cute.
I love that photo.
Okay, this is gonna have to be Spark Notes because this story could be an hour long.
Okay.
But I want you to tell your Heim story. That's probably your other craziest fan story.
Craziest fan story, yes. So last year, 2020, this is the beginning of 2020.
Really? No.
Yes.
Really?
Isn't that insane? It was before the world.
No. It was in 20...
Yeah, no, it was 2020.
Oh, because when you
was
visited LA.
February.
It wasn't when you lived in LA.
No, it was when I
Right.
visited.
Okay, keep going.
So, I was in LA for work, and I had a friend out there, and he's like, hey, I have this, day show thing for work if you want to go. And I was like, yeah, what is it? And he's like, Heim's doing this kind of secret show, and that's all he had to say. I said...
He said, I heard Heim and I was in.
I'm in love with Heim.
Mm-hmm.
This is before their latest incredible album,
Yeah.
Women in Music Part 3. They had just put out a few singles, so Summer Girl was out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might have been the only single out so far in February. I
think
could be
so.
wrong.
Was Now I'm in it? No.
Hallelujah was out.
Okay. I don't remember. That album release was so strange.
Anyway, Spark No version. So he invites me to this thing. I go with him, and I am not knowing what to expect.
No.
But I Uber to the location he has sent me, and it's in a neighborhood, like a residential neighborhood, in this guy's backyard.
Right.
And I walk in, and I see this just like little area of a stage setup where it's 3 microphones, a few guitars,
And no really it wasn't elevated.
It's on the ground of
Mhm.
this backyard. So I'm just kind of overwhelmed with, oh my gosh, Heim's not actually gonna come and play a set right there.
What?
I was wrong. They did, and so Heim plays 3 songs. It's this private event.
And it's like all industry people.
It's all industry people.
Yeah.
And I cannot believe I'm there. They played The Wire, Summer Girl, and I don't remember. Right now I'm blanking on what else they played.
That's okay.
Oh, Little of Your Love.
Okay.
And after, they walk right past me, like,
Ugh. And
they're,
you're just like...
they're going back inside the house, and I'm
Yeah.
like...
And let's just talk about how they are the most beautiful, most powerful group of women ever.
They're so powerful.
Like, if I could join anyone...
Heim,
Ugh.
you are my inspiration in life.
Yeah.
I love all 3 of you, but
Uh-huh.
Esty, you're iconic. So then whatever, I am looking at my friend, and he's also a huge Heim fan, and we're kind of speechless, and I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom. I think I'm going to go wander inside and see if I can find one. And I walk into the wrong room, and Heim's just chilling with some other people there, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I walk back, I get in line for the bathroom, I look at my friend, and I was like, hey, Heim's in there. I'm going to go to the bathroom. We're going to then go into that room. Something came over me.
Yeah, the confidence you had is so amazing.
Was truly, I do not know her.
Mm-hmm.
So we go and we walk back in their room, and I just kind of had this feeling where if you act like you belong, you belong.
100%.
If you
That's how I
kinda
get into any room.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
you're skittish at all, they're going to notice that you're a fish out of water and you're out.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, randomly, I kind of bump into them, and I give a handshake to Danielle.
Which Danielle, as much as you love Essie, Danielle is like my everything. Like, she's...
The way that I froze. I don't get starstruck, really. I got starstruck with Hayley Williams because I didn't know how to talk to her.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, my middle school self is shaking.
Yeah.
But this is after Danielle had just won a Grammy for Vampire Weekend. And I'm speechless, and I shake her hand, introduce myself, It was amazing. And then someone makes some comment about having large feet.
Guess you do.
And I'm like, this is my way in. So I end up having a huge conversation with Esty one-on-one about how we both have really large feet. She's a size 11. I'm a size 10. We start talking about Barney's and their sale. Next thing I know, I'm hanging out with the Heim sisters. We're chatting away. And then Esty's blood sugar got low and she had to sit down on the couch. Mm-hmm. And so I sat next to her and we talked about the music video for Hallelujah, the thank you video with the fans and all of that and their family. It was just, we hung out for like 45 minutes.
That's insane.
And we exchanged numbers. We never talked, but...
the way that Esty's number is just living rent-free in your phone.
Rent-free in
just
my phone.
Hanging out.
She may have changed her number by now, but I'm still looking at it as, you know...
That's okay. We don't even need to think of that.
This is also the time to say that the Heim sisters are the most genuine people I've ever met in music. And they're so talented.
Mm-hmm. They're unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
They're so powerful. And they're just so unapologetic words.
What?
Yep. You know what I was saying. So unapologetically themselves and so insanely talented, but aren't like annoying about it.
No.
Like they don't need to flaunt it. Everyone just knows they're talented and they just do their thing and be themselves. And they're like, yeah, we're the Heim sisters. And I'm like, yes, you are.
You are.
Them at the Grammys this year.
Oh my gosh. Okay, can we talk about the fact that it was Harry Styles, Heim and Billy were the opening?
No.
Like, come on.
Woo! Yeah.
I was sweating. Then you throw Dua Lipa in there.
Don't even. I can't even
so
touch that topic today.
But yeah, so that was my crazy Heim story.
Wow.
It's just one of the best days of my life.
I bet.
Especially for music.
I bet. Wow. So you go to that show. You mentioned that you went to LA for work.
Yeah.
So we know that you work in the music industry.
Correct.
How did you go from like a fan to that? And like, what do you see any challenges there along the road, that kind of thing?
Yeah. I was, like, my parents are very supportive of, you know, my love for music. I remember having a conversation with them really early on where, you know, you're starting to get the questions of what do you want to do when you grow up? Mm-hmm. Far too young. People ask you that.
You said, I'm 12.
I said, what? And, you know, little kids, when you ask them that, they're like, I want to be a firefighter, or I want to be a teacher, I want to be a doctor. I had no idea.
Yeah.
But my parents had said to me at a very young age something that I've never forgotten, and it was, what do you love most in the world? Find what you love most in the world, and then make that a career, and you'll never work another day in your life.
Sexy.
Right? That's the same words of advice I'm going to give my own children one day. And because of that, I said, crap, the only really thing I know that I truly love in this world is music and going to shows. Yeah. And in 8th grade, we had to write a paper about what is a place you feel safest at.
Oh.
My answer was a concert venue.
Stop.
And I wrote this whole paper about, you know, the feeling and the anxiety you have. I didn't even understand anxiety fully. But the excitement and the anxiety and the stuff you can feel in your stomach when you walk into a new venue, I was like, oh my gosh, I want everyone to be able to feel that. So I knew I loved music, and I knew specifically I loved live music. And so first thought I had was, okay, I'm going to go into live music.
Yeah.
I can't play or sing at all. So I knew, okay, well, someone's got to be on the business end of it, right? Yep. Someone's got to be pushing this music. Someone has to be helping this artist. So I just thought, okay, if that's the thing, I want in. I want to be able to show some young kid out there their next favorite artist. Yeah. So I thought I wanted to go into live music. But then when I started at Belmont, you know, at your kind of intro classes, they tell you all the different areas you can go into. And I said, all right, I'm going to get experience in anything and everything I can. Yeah. And we'll go from there. Yeah. And I ended up getting an internship that turned into a part-time job that turned into me leaving to go to LA for a semester and working out there. and gaining other experience, and then coming back and being offered a full-time position at the place I interned for. And I loved the company, I loved the atmosphere, I loved the writers and artists. And ever since then, I've been, on the publishing front, but I just genuinely am a fan of music at the end of the day.
Oh, Nick, that's so cute.
That's my little spiel.
I'm so proud of you.
Where I'm at today.
Oh, 100%. And her other gig is working for Collective Sound. I force her to work for me.
I said, Isabel, you and I are going to take over the world one day.
Yeah, we've actually talked about taking over the world together and making something together for so long. Then I started Collective Sound, and I was like, wait, why is Nicole not doing this with me?
Yeah.
So
I was waiting for the offer.
Yeah, I'm sorry I was slow. I had to find my way.
Yep.
So Nicole, if you follow Collective Sound,
as you should,
follow us on Instagram, collective.sound.
Whatever you like to call
whatever you want to call it. Nicole has started, and you probably started this like what, a month ago? Maybe a little more than
2 months ago.
2 months ago. Nicole makes us themed playlists every other week, and all I will say is that they are killer every single time. I have gotten reviews for people who tell me the only playlists they listen to are Collective Sound playlists, which is all we want to hear.
Brings such love and warmth to my heart.
Exactly. So Nicole's been killing that, and she's a part of the team, and so that's especially when I wanted to bring her on today.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the people need to know you, Nicole.
What's up? Be my friend. I love friends.
Gosh, I know. Yeah, be both of our friends. Come hang out with us.
We're a fun group of gals.
We're kind of scary in the best of, like, scary how powerful we are.
Yeah.
But Nicole, as I said earlier, like, is always the person who shows me people before they blow up, shows me, like, the indie artists I love, shows me all the new music I love, also, like, people who are popular that I don't even listen to.
Yeah.
Nicole has it for me. So, I would love, do you have artists that you're listening to right now that you want to promote, or you think everyone should jump on now?
Yes. An album listened to recently. So 2 things that come to mind right when you say that is the band Flight. Yes. They just put a new album out, and it's incredible. Mm-hmm. Huge fan. It Will Hurt Your Heart.
Great.
Katie Kirby.
Oh.
Her new album.
Katie.
Is incredible. Claude just put a new album out. Oh. It's been on non-stop for me. The song Jordan hurts.
Oof. Yep.
What else? I've jumped back into Muna a lot lately.
I feel like they're such a summer band.
Yeah.
They make me feel good. Like the latest record, why can't I think of the name? Muna Takes Over the
Save the World.
Save the World?
Yeah. Saves the World.
Gosh, I thought it was Muna Takes Over the World, which, like, they do. But that record feels so like number one fan. Ooh. Such a summer song.
So good. I think that's my theme song. And then other artists that I'm just in love with is Duckworth. He's incredible.
I don't think I've listened to that one.
Have I? Duckworth.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Ooh. World on Wheels.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. So good. He's amazing. And then Arlo Parks.
Arlo Parks.
So good. We just bought tickets to her tour.
I cannot wait.
I'm so excited.
Cannot wait.
But yeah, so those are some of the artists that I'm just vibing with right now.
That was perfect. And go listen to Nicole's playlist that she makes for us.
Yeah,
or her personal playlist. Like, those also rock.
I love it. I love music.
I know you do.
Big fan.
I know you do. Okay, I have rapid fire for you now.
Oh,
these are quick. I know, and I didn't prep you on these.
Okay, nope.
Number 1, what's your favorite song at the moment?
Love is an Accident by Flight.
Oh, okay. Number 2, what's the best concert you've ever been to?
Paramore at the End in 2018
Ugh.
with my best friends.
Oh my gosh, so cute. Okay, number 3. Usually I ask this to songwriters, but I'm gonna switch it a little for you.
Okay.
What's your, like, favorite lyric of any song?
Favorite lyric of any song?
Yeah. Or at the moment. All time is a hard question.
Can I switch it a little?
Yeah.
Lyrics in general, I love the lyrics of Now I'm In It by Haim.
Mm-hmm.
Because that song, it's like, really touches on being in your head and having anxiety and stuff. Mm-hmm. And the track is so hectic, but the lyrics, like, when I went through a really hard time, that I just listened to that on repeat. And so literally the entire song and the lyrics are just, that's what I'm going to give my shout out to.
That was a brilliant answer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Okay, last one.
Okay.
If you could work with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be? It can be an industry person, a writer, an artist, any of that.
Queen.
Oh, yeah.
In 1985, specifically around when they did Live Aid at
Okay.
Wembley.
Wow, that is the most detailed answer I've ever gotten.
That is one of my favorite live performances
I mean, yeah.
ever. And to be able to work with the King, Freddie,
Yeah.
during that time
Yeah.
would just be incredible.
Wow. What a good answer.
I would say Amy Winehouse, but I
Oh, yeah.
don't think I love her as an artist and musician, but she had a lot going on.
Yeah. You
So I'd
do
love
love
to
her
work
so
with
much.
Freddie. Yes. Amy
Wow.
Winehouse is my favorite artist.
That was the fastest anyone's ever answered rapid fire. I'm so
Wow.
proud of you.
I was so nervous.
I know. You were so nervous for this whole thing, and look, we made it to the end.
We made it.
Nicole, I'm in love with you.
Isabel,
also-
I'm in love with you.
In love with everyone who listens to this. I love you all.
Yes, I want to be your best friend.
Yeah, we both want to be your best friends, so hang out with us. Go on a walk. We go on a lot of walks.
Yep.
We get
Drinks
drinks.
at Never Never.
We do.
Shout out to
Shout
Never
out to.
Never.
Do we want to shout out Never Never? Because I hate that everyone knows about it now.
That's true. Take this out of the podcast.
We're gonna take this out,
Okay.
but I don't think I actually will. But that's where you'll find us. So if you want to come hang out with us, like stalk
Charles.
us, I guess.
Charles, we love
I
you.
want to. What if we go see Charles today?
Okay, well, I'm gonna
Nicole said no.
I said it is 1:25 and I'm drinking a Bud Light seltzer.
These are actually not as bad as I thought they were gonna be. I don't
Really
mind them.
delicious.
Yeah, I don't
Bud
mind.
Light, once again.
Sponsor us. They sponsor Justin Long.
And Isabel, thank you for having me.
Nicole, thank you for coming.
Thanks for being my best friend.
Thanks for being mine.
And we're gonna take over the world for anybody that's wondering.
Yeah, so watch out.
Um,
Just prep yourself now.
Collective sound.
Speaking
Justin
of,
Long. All right. You know what? I've been waiting for this moment in the podcast. Justin Long. My dear friend Isabel Pacey. I've never seen her gush over a man like the way she gushes about you, other than Timothy and Harry. But
Good.
you need to come on Collective Sound. You've already spoken to her
via video.
via video,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't know her beautiful face yet, and you should.
Oh, stop. You're so kind.
We love your work,
We love your work.
especially in New Girl.
Especially New Girl, and especially in He's Just Not That Into You.
Oh, so good.
Whew.
But Justin Long, this is me, Nicole Victoria, please asking you to be on Collective Sound.
Nicole, that was great.